Okay, everyone, it is the top of the hour at 8 p.m., and we have the one and only Mr. Andrew McWilliams on the call with us. Andy, how are you?
I'm doing great. Can you hear me okay, Cheryl?
I absolutely can.
All right. You sound great tonight. I appreciate you doing that and always doing it so well and so disciplined. I love it. And you know, it's kind of your business goes that way. And you and Wayne are so great at just being consistent as can be, do what works and stick with it. And I love that. And I appreciate you so much. So let's get ready to rock and roll, everybody. Hopefully you're on here. Hopefully you got your team on here because tonight's one of those nights where I just feel like we have such an important moment as a company in front of us. I'm walking where I won't get in the wind. I'm standing outside of the Lifetime gym where I was just working out, getting a Sunday evening workout in. So normally a lot happens to me when I'm working out like that. Like I get pretty fired up, right? Now I want to tell you, just like most people, I didn't feel like working out tonight. I didn't feel like it at all. Matter of fact, I came up with every excuse you can imagine not to come here tonight. Even things that just didn't make any sense whatsoever. Some of them were really good excuses, right? Like my wife was even like, well, yeah, maybe we shouldn't go, you know? Like I was selling it, man. I was talking to her into it, talking the kids into skip and everything. And then finally, my son looked at me and he said, Dad, what's the right thing to do? Literally said that. What's the right thing to do, Dad? Should we dismiss it? And I was like, oh, man. Hello, conscience. The mouth of babes. Well, he's not a babe anymore, but you know what I'm saying. Go and start working out. I'm in there 10 minutes shooting with him, and I'm texting a couple people, and we start going. We start getting into this routine with the basketball, and before you know it, I mean, if you could see me right now, I'm outside where it is cooler here, right? And I am soaked. I just had one of the best workouts of my life. I didn't feel like it until I took action, and then the feeling showed up. Yeah, that's how it works for most of us. I'm just saying that to say because I'm going to give you a couple ideas here, some bigger picture stuff on our company to hopefully help the people that are either a little skeptical on whether this is right for them, maybe a little cynical about the company right now because maybe somebody who hasn't gotten something shipped on time, or you're just, you know, it's just a natural way because maybe your business isn't growing right now for whatever reason. I'm sure there's some really good ones as well. But at the end of the day, our business is a day-to-day business. And the great news for all of us is until it just, I guess it changes, you have the next day you can kind of start again and go for it. So if you have a bad day today, if you have to quit today, make sure you start again tomorrow. I've had those moments, had them lots of times through my career. Matter of fact, I have never, and I sat back and I went through my black journals, which some of you guys know I have these black leather-bound journals that I've used for 20 years of my career. So I could go back and tell you on a day that I did a meeting, where I did it, what I was feeling. Now, there are some times when it gets away from me a little bit, but very rarely, since I started I guess I probably started 19 years ago that I started having these journals, that I haven't used them. So it's just my way of kind of showing up to work was to open that journal, write in the date, where I was, meetings I had, conference calls, thoughts, calls I was going to make, whatever it may be. I always took that with me no matter where I travel. I still do today, even though I do use electronics a little bit more now with my phone. But it's amazing to look back now and see these waves of momentum and then lacking momentum and the ruts that I got into and the habits I could tell you where my business was by the metrics I was looking at in the book. I could tell you if I had a good year or a bad year. I can tell you that every single day of my entire career, there were and are challenges. Every single day. Not one day in my entire career did I not have to put up with some kind of challenge. Something was wrong. Customer got fouled up. It's so overwhelming at times. You go back and you really read those books. If you're not in the right frame of mind, it can depress you a little bit, right? Like you're like, wow. And some of you are realizing that now. Now, a company should do their absolute best to minimize those things. I felt like I've been a part of companies that actually did it on purpose. It was so bad. And I know some of you might be questioning that here, but what you do is you have to tell over time how a company reacts to challenges, how we create environments that do reduce them and create, well, really a track for you to run on. I want you to imagine right now, if all of you will just give me a few minutes, actually really intentionally get somewhere where you can listen to this and give me your heart and soul right there. Just listen, please. I am trying to give you information. This information is not as CEO of the company. This information is not as somebody who owns the company is trying to get excuses for the company. I am trying to throw a lifeline to every single one of our independent business owners. You're called an IBO. You're a brand influencer. That's how we titled those, right? Because you help influence people to the brands that we create, and it's amazing. They're your brands as well, right? So you are here. I'm trying to give you something that can help save some of your businesses, that are going to help create some of your business, that are going to create momentum in some of your businesses. And the stuff that I'm going to talk about over the next few minutes has been earned the old-fashioned way, which is through a lot of pain, blood, sweat, and tears, and from learning from other people. For some reason, I've been so stubborn through my career, always trying to reinvent the wheel, always trying to find a shortcut. And it wasn't until I embraced some of these very powerful concepts that I even started to really make the money that was potentially there. And I would tell you, it made such a big difference over time, right? So now hopefully I've got your attention. I want you to imagine, close your eyes just for 1 minute, use the best you can, even if you're not a creative person. Just imagine that Revital U is building a track for you to run on. And I don't know if it's a high school track or a college track, or maybe it's a track through the woods. If you like to go walk and run through the woods, whatever it is, maybe it's through a busy city, but we're removing obstacles from that, and we're laying it out there. We're putting the best surface down possible to protect your body, to make sure you get the fastest track you want to go on. But it is 100% up to you to how fast you want to go on that track. I mean, that we can do everything right. How about this? We have invested millions of dollars to have 3 countries open right now. 3 countries open with, I believe, a game-changing product. A product that is so good that even with challenges, our customer base continues to explode, which means your residual incomes are continuing to explode, that your organizations continue to grow right through time. And talk about the challenges even from Mother Nature with, hurricanes coming through, knocking out our production for 13 days, and then even delaying more production after that. I'm talking about challenges of growing 7 figures in 1 month, from 1 month to the next, over $1 million in growth in coffee sales. I mean, these are big challenges, right? Great challenges. I love I can't remember who said it today, and I'm sorry I don't remember this. I think it was Lori. She said, we are blessed to be stressed in some ways, right? And I love that so much today. I'm going to use that one. I'm going to figure out. I think it was Lori that said that. Anyway, so I love that. So now you got this track out there, but you must decide sincerely and passionately how fast do you want to go on that track? How fast? What are you willing to give up? What are you willing to fight for? How serious are you willing to take this? Because the best, most exciting, most encouraging thing I can tell you right now is that everything that it takes to be massively successful at Revital U, every single part of it, is up to you and within you. It means that there's no real reason, there might be perceived reasons, but there's no real reason why you can't be absolutely as big as you want to be. Go as fast as you can imagine on that track. It is 100% up to you. But you got to have a few of these big things in place. And I want to tell you something. This is where I feel like sometimes when I train that I say yin and yang, right? There's always yin and yang in the Eastern philosophy of good and bad and whatever it may be, right? So I feel that way all the time. I feel like I say one thing and then I say the exact opposite, and they both make sense. And that's my life. That's truly my life. Like, I'll give you an example. I believe you have 0 chance of meeting your potential in our business unless you have what, you all know what I'm going to say, right? A why. A powerful, emotional, pull you through it why. Matter of fact, call it whatever you want, but I call it a why, but you could call it a profitable purpose. Profitable purpose. Something that says you have to do it. You know it's in you. It cannot be denied. Anytime I run into a woman or a man who has this why locked in and ready to go, they're usually at the top of the food chain. They're going as fast as you. And as a matter of fact, they go so fast on their track that it inspires others to go faster. And there's something so beautiful in that. I'll give you an example. Sherelle Wayne Compass got started in our business back when it was a vision. It wasn't even a real business. It was so small. It was so minute. It was literally us and her and Wayne. And it was Coach. And we talk about it. Pat and I would sit back and we talk about what were Wayne and Sherelle doing today, because that was our customer base. Coach, how are they doing? How are they feeling? Because she was sampling so fast and this customer base started growing. She was proving our point, right? And then that inspired other people to start doing it. And so then other people they would call her from all over the company and say, what are you doing, Sherelle? How are you doing this, Wayne? Talk to us, Compass family. Tell us how you're doing this. And it inspired others to do it. And people started stepping up. I'll give you another example of that was Jennifer Irvin. Jennifer Irvin saw this and saw the success. And the first few meetings, I don't know how many, it wasn't just Coach going out there and supporting her, which was magnificent and important because he believed in one thing 100%, and that was me. That was that I wasn't going to stop. That was Pat. That he was our president, that he wasn't going to stop. It was our families, how we were all in. And his belief in that really showed some. But Sherelle started proving the business. So I don't know how many, but, Sherelle kept showing up to Jennifer's and helping her at those first few meetings. I know she was at the first few that I went there. And all of a sudden, Jennifer Irvin takes her belief, gets inspired, and starts being Jennifer Irvin. She just starts going for it. And as she's going for it, she's creating a business and helping people see the plan and inspiring others to do it even more. All of a sudden, Jennifer Irvin hits the $50,000 bonus. What does that do to people? I've had more calls this week from people that were excited about their check, but when they heard somebody hit the $50,000, they're like, wait a minute, I am just getting started. I'm like, yes. But you must have the passionate, profitable purpose. What are you trying to accomplish? If you won't even spend any real time or any real energy on trying to develop your why, then you're not listening. It doesn't matter what the company does. It doesn't matter what the comp plan is. It doesn't matter about how many sticks we have in stock or how many. It doesn't matter until you get this number one thing through. Jim Rohn says it best. There are three massive forces that pull against you at all times. Jim Rohn is one of the greatest, if not the greatest, business philosopher I've ever heard. Peter, Pat, and I were so excited because we were talking about, Pat had just the brilliance to say, let's put that on one of the calls, and I just get fired up about it because it's such a bigger part. It's so where we're going as a company because I don't think you can out-earn what you truly think you're worth long term. Matter of fact, I would believe that's one of those laws I'm talking about. You can't out-earn what you really think you're worth. People sabotage success all the time. It's because they don't think they deserve it, right? Well, that happens all the time. So we got to help people create more worth in themselves, and they, earn that right to be wealthy and keep it. And so Jim Rohn gets introduced to you guys. Well, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to introduce some more to you because he says there are three massive forces that work against us at all times. And if you've heard this, hey, just listen again because I do. And I've been doing this for almost 24 years full time every single day. Like you can feel right now, hopefully from me, the passion and the drive that's in me for this. That's what I've done for decades. So when I hear it, it still moves me. So listen, three things. First one is the anchors, the negative. It pulls you back. It's the memories and the memories of your failures, even your smaller successes, and it wants to pull you backwards. Or there's the side to side, and it's the distractions. It's the complaints. It's even the justified excuses of why it's not working for you. Those are massive forces, either pulling you backwards, which you don't want to go, or sideways, which means you're off track. But then there's one magical, overwhelmingly most powerful force of all, and that's that why, that purpose. And it's out in front of you, and it pulls you towards it. I will tell you, one of the tragedies of our business, I know I'm being pretty dramatic, you just hear me out. One of the tragedies of our business is how small most people's whys really are. It's so sad to me. People get worn down, they get beat up, they tried other deals, they get upset at us, they're justified, so they justify having a very small reason why they're doing this. I don't know what I've done right in this business, but I'll tell you, one of the things is that I started very, very small. And yet I allowed my why to get bigger and bigger and bigger and evolve over time. And it wasn't until I had massive disruption in my life that I had to really sit down and put real effort and concentration and real energy into my why that I actually unlocked my own earning potential in this business. And tens of millions came after that moment. I suggest you do the same thing. I told you, I'm going to say yin and yang, right? Big things like this big why that's out there. If you have that, nothing could stop you. But it's really the day-to-day part of the business, the little things that create momentum. So you have to have that thing that's pulling you forward because that is your energy. That's your super energy so you can run on that track. But if you don't even know where the track is, if you don't keep track of your feet going one step in front of the other, you're not intentional with your energy, you're not intentional with your mornings, you're not intentional with your business, these little things on a day-to-day business, then you're not going to make it. I'm just telling you, it's not even, hey, you're going to do okay, don't worry about that. It's like you will end up dying in our business. Go on to the next thing. So you got to have the big things, got to have the small things, you got to focus. And I'll tell you something. I find great comfort in knowing this business can only be operated at its most efficient and most powerful day to day. I know you go, Andy, how could you do it any other way? Oh, I've tried. Yeah, I've done 60-day goals, 12-month goals. I've done 6-week goals. I've done months, and I get so overwhelmed and burned out. And I'm like, why? Oh, yeah. And my wife will say something like, hey, stupid, don't worry about tomorrow. Just do it today. I'm like, oh, yeah, makes sense since we can't do anything about tomorrow yet. Just today. Meaning that if you could give out 10 samples today, but you only give out 4, you didn't maximize the day, because that leads us to the next thing, which is when you say you want it to happen, you say you want to run on that track, and you say you want to do it for your family, your children, your parents, your church, your community, whatever it is, you want more so you can give more, but then you're not willing to prepare. You're not willing to practice. And if you're not willing to do those two things, then I question whether you really have your why, or if you even believe what you're saying. Meaning that you can become an expert sample giver in about a week, maybe less. I mean, an expert. There's so many books written about being an expert and finding the thing you do best in life and all these things. I don't know about that, because there's so many aspects, there's so many different layers in direct sales, there's so many different ways you can approach so many different things. Look, I know you can find something here you can be passionate about, but your why is what I think you should focus on. And then your why should be so crystal clear to you and so powerful that you're compelled to take action. And then when you're taking action, doesn't it make sense that you should just get better? I promise you, and you might find this is kind of hard to believe, but I am nowhere near the same person that you're listening to right now than I was when I started this business. I could sit in a room for days and train on this stuff. I'm not exaggerating. I'm sure Jennifer and Coach and Raynette would tell you, because they listened the other day. I got going, talking about training on this stuff. I could train on stuff all day. I have so much in me about it, because I have made it my life's mission. If there's one thing I'm going to do, it's that I am going to give it my best for my family. I literally equate every day of my business to my wife and my children and my Lord. Every day. That's why some of you, when you complain, you'll hear me take responsibility for things I really couldn't do anything about. But you'll hear me say, I own that. That's my fault. I am truly sorry. And I have some people say, Andy, why do you apologize? Is that so hard to kind of, be down there all the time and apologize and all the time? I said, no, not at all. What would be hard is not delivering on what I promised myself for my family. Oh, Andy, is it so hard to hear people negative, even though they made this money, they're still negative because this one customer, even though we delivered it, they're saying they didn't get it, and these people are acting, and they've now gone into stall mode. They're not even working, even though they made these thousands of dollars from your comp plan. And is it hard for you to keep going and be excited about for them, or be enthusiastic or encouraging to them when you've been through so much, you spent millions to get here? No, it's not. I will do it every day. I will overcome whatever I got to overcome. I will stay the course. I will stay on that track no matter what. It's why I've looked everyone in the eye that's come into this business so far, and I said, I'm so grateful, and I feel so blessed that you're a part of this company. But if you were to leave right now, it will not change the course of me or this company one bit. And hopefully, you won't take offense to that, but if you do, you do. But hopefully, you won't say, well, that's just me. No, it can be you too. That's the passion I'm talking about. I'm not asking you to have that for Revital You. I'm asking you to have that for your why. I'm asking you to have that for you and your family. And then when you choose the track called Revital You, I ask that you apply that same passionate, profitable purpose to our track together, because we are laying it out there for y'all. This is magic time. Hope my man Peter's listening. It's magic. But you got to show up. Last two things. Consistency. is so important. I was told by a guy that I actually didn't respect a lot. He had achieved some big things, but he wasn't my kind of guy. I'll just say it like that. He's just he felt like he always telling you something and just kind of, I don't know, just one of those guys. I'm not going to get any further than that. But he said something to a group of us one day, and I heard it, and I thought, man, I don't really buy into that. And he said, guys, success, 80% of it's just showing up. And I thought, well, and now after all these years, I actually think there's real truth in that. Because you act your way into feeling. Just the act of showing up to the business. In our business, that means waking up, doing whatever you do to get in the center place for you and your family, your faith, whatever, physical health, whatever it is, and then showing up to our business. It means take some samples with you. Get your story ready. Practice a little bit. And then engage as you live your life. That's what I'm talking about. 80% of being successful is just showing up, being consistently a part on the track. How are you going to run fast on the track if you don't even get to the track? Maybe you're tired of that analogy, but you stay with me. I'm almost done. Last but not least, it's really not the least. It's so stinking important. Most people have the idea of, is it Jim Rohn again? The idea of enthusiasm. Because people say to me, Andy, well, I'm so fired up. And they show enthusiasm. They think people want to see enthusiasm. They think people want to see, and imagine you have 100% of whatever enthusiasm you have for the business, for what you're trying to accomplish, and they think 90% of that enthusiasm must be shown outwardly to people in order for them to want to be a part of the business, and in order for them to be attracted to the business, in order for them to be moved enough to get started in the business. And I'm going to tell you, it's different. It's opposite. They show 90%, keep 10%. That's real. That's for them. I truly believe, and I heard this from Jim Rohn a long time ago, I mean, probably a couple decades ago, and I did not understand it for a long, long time. And that was, it's the opposite. When you're truly excited or enthused about what you're doing, that 90% of it should be for you inside, internal. And it's the 10% you show that comes off so sincere. That's where people go, you know, something just feels right about what she's saying. And they use the words like genuine and authentic. She speaks from the heart. He really means it. Because they know, they feel intuitively, right where they make their decisions in the limbic part of their brain, where there's no language and there's no math, so it's not comp plan, not ingredients, it's not how you did the presentation. It's about your true conviction and commitment to what you're saying. And it's inside of you. And it's greater on the inside than what's shown on the outside. And people can feel it. That is a little bit advanced for what I'm trying to say here tonight, but I hope you understand that. Meaning that there should be a fire in you for what you're trying to accomplish. But your day-to-day business needs to be systematic, consistent, practiced, honed, become an expert with handing out. You go, Andy, what's an expert in samples? What does that look like? Well, to me, an expert is somebody who knows exactly what they're saying. They say it with quiet confidence and true enthusiasm. And then they follow up because the fortune's in the follow-up. This is a Sunday night training call. I promise you, we haven't even scratched the surface on the knowledge and skills that we can teach about how to build a business. Matter of fact, we are still putting the fundamental pieces in place. Pat Johnson, our president, God bless him, I love him to death. And you know why? Because let me tell you, every person that was paid up until 2 weeks ago, I believe maybe a week and a half ago, every person that was paid pre-hyperwallet, every check that went out, everything that was deposited in, everything that went through ACH or whatever it was, the Zeal, everyone was done individually by one person, Pat Johnson. I'm talking about hundreds of transactions where you have to type in the numbers every time. You got to make sure it matches up. If there's one number transposed in the wire number or the ACH number, one number, you put the wrong name in by one space, and it gets rejected and returned. And people are like, why haven't I been paid? And we're like, we tried to pay, but it was a mistake because we didn't have the right system in place. And But this man did it every week, inside and out, and he's still auditing and trying to catch up and whatever else it takes. But on Friday, he hit a switch, and instantaneously about $500,000 went out in commissions. In 3 countries, 4 currencies, across the spectrum. Everything we're doing right now is for the track. The track is being laid. Obstacles are being removed. It is getting straightened out. It is going downhill, and you better get on and get moving. Whatever speed that is for you. Let go. Whew, this is going to be a tough one for some of you. Let go of being right. Not for me. I don't mind. I promise you, text me, call me. I spend a lot of my day right now answering those calls, working it out for people, saying, yep, we love you. We're going to send you more product. Well, yep, we love you. We'll pay you again. Yep, whatever it takes. But let go of being right. Move on. Move forward. Just today. Just tonight. Don't worry about tomorrow. Just tonight. Make your plans for this week. Text somebody, call them, set something up to have a coffee with them. Reach out to somebody and say, I'm sending you a sample. Call me when you get it. Be the best you can be. Practice your sampling. Give somebody in your family, even if it's just a pet, and hand them a sample and go through some of the scenarios of what you might hear back and how you handle them. It is the time. Right now, this is the time. This isn't the time to sit back and go, well, all right, I've worked really hard through September and that pre-launch. Let me take off a little time because you are killing your momentum. You're only hurting you and your family. This should be the single most intense time of your life for running on a track for you and your family because you are going to change generations. Generational wealth, residual money, different kind. We get your time back, your freedom. You deserve it. You deserve it. And now you must earn it. I'm sure grateful you were on here. I know it went long. Be ready. We've got big things coming up this week. There's only one way you prepare for what we've got in store, and that is working your business. So, everybody that's going to be on Facebook Live tomorrow, that's going to be up in the morning and still late tonight, calling people, whatever it is, well, take this knowledge. Hopefully you took notes. Listen to it again when we post it. Do whatever you got to do. Make it count. God bless you guys.